Hello everyone. Just imagine a life of a software engineer without any version control system. I know what you'll think. It will be just a complete mess, right? So here in this session, I'll be discussing about the most popular version control system, which is Git. So my name is Asitha. I work for Creative Software as a senior software engineer. Let's get started. Okay, here is my agenda. First, I'm going to go with the introduction and then to the operations. So in the operations, I'm going to show you how it works inside. I'm using the Git command line to show these operations. And also I'll be discussing about some best practices of Git and some answers for the common questions. Git introduction. What is Git? Git is an open source distributed version control system. Simply, we can say Git is a tool that tracks the changes of your source code, which makes the life so much easier. So we are going to discuss about that. So as I say, this is a distributed version control system. In the distributed systems, we have the same things in the distributed architecture. So in here, we have a server computer which holds the version 1 to 3, and same versions are there in local machines. For example, computer A and computer B. So all those things are synced if you sync these things with the server or the remote machine. So that's why we call this Git as a distributed version control system. And the most interesting part of this is, in this Git, it saves as snapshots. Git is not like other version control systems. Git will store the whole snapshot in the versioning. So if you take a look at this slide on the first image, these are the other version control systems. As you can see in the image, in version 2, 3 and in those kind of versions, what we have is they are storing only the changes. Like for example, in this file A, in the version 2, this one has only been changed in A1. In version 4, it will store only those changes, but it's completely different architecture in Git. It will store all the files in every versions, so storing data as a snapshot of the project over the time. So that's kind of a beautiful infrastructure they have in Git, because it is so much easier to go back and forth and track the changes. Okay, now here we are with the basic Git workflow. So after the basic introduction of Git, and this is the next part we are going to do, and here we have some practical sessions as well. So basically in the Git workflow, we have 3 steps mainly. So first, we will init Git into our working directory, and we add them into a staging area, and we commit. So you might wonder, what are these words like init, add, commit? Don't worry, we are going to do some practical lessons in the next sessions. So let's get started. Okay, first things first. Before doing anything with Git version control system, we must install Git into our operating system. Here I'm with the browser of Google Chrome, and in my search engine I type Git, and as you can see, I go to the first option. This is the official website, and I just go, and inside that we can see the downloads button and the other details as well. So my operating system is an Linux version Ubuntu, so I see the download button here as download as Linux, but don't worry, this is available for all the other operating systems, popular operating systems, Windows and Mac. So if you go to downloads, you can see Mac OS download, Windows and Linux. So this is just a simple download and install options. You can just go next and install it. So I have already installed that one. I hope you can do the installation part of your own. And yes, that's all. Once you install, we can start with Git operations. So after you have installed Git into your system, you can see whether it's installed. You can just go to your favorite command line. In my case, I'm using Terminator. Since I have the Ubuntu operating system, I like this very much. Anyway, in your operating system, you can just type git version and you should be able to see the version right here. So which means you have successfully installed Git and we can just work around with the Git. To get started, let's go and create some folder and init Git and do some practice on the basic Git workflow that you know, init, add and commit, right? Okay, so I'm going to my workspace and I'm going to create a folder there. So we'll say add git test and I will be going inside that folder. Now I will create a file. So for that I'll use my touch command index.html and I will open this file using my favorite code editor, Visual Studio Code. And in this index.html I will type some kind of a code. For example, I'll say M1. So that's a wonderful code. Anyway, don't care about that much. We'll go to Git. And first thing is to initialize Git right here in this folder. If you take a look at here, I have only this file index.html. So I'm going to init Git here. For that one, we just have to use the command git init. So this will init this will initialize some files inside the git test folder and it will convert this folder as the master branch. So master branch is kind of the main branch of the Git workflow. Alright, initialize an empty Git repository. As you can see, I have changed to a branch. So in this, the master branch is displayed right here. I'll clear the command line and the next basic command that you should know is in the git status. So when you type git status in the command line, you will be able to see all the changes that has been done to your folder. Right now I have added the index.html file and it says it is an untracked file, which means it is not yet included into the Git workflow. So we have done the first thing in the basic Git workflow, that is git init, and the next thing is git add. So when you do a git add, what happens is it will create a staging area where we can keep our changes in a place, like it will save those changes in a place, and once it's saved, we can just add a message and do something else. We'll talk about that one later. Anyway, so we'll add them, git add, and here we can type the file name, or if you have multiple files to be added into the Git, we can just type dot, or else we can type the file name. So here I will type the file name index.html. Right, it's added. So once it's added, because I'm using my-sh plugin to my terminal, I will see all the changes that I do in Git. So here we can see the branch name and the plus sign, which shows that I have added the files. So if I go and do a git status command again, now this file is added to a staging area and it is in the green color. Previously it was in red color. Okay, so now the second part is also done. First init, then add, and finally we have the commit, which means we save this one in the local repository, in the local Git workflow, right? So we have commit. So commit is the command. After commit, we can give a message and like saying what we do. So we can just enter here if you are having multiple, if you are having multiple commits to do, which means multiple lines. like if you explain the work that you have done in multiple lines, you can just go and hit right here. Then you can like do this stuff 1, 2, 3 likewise. Okay, or else you can just put a single line sentence right here. Just put git commit -m, and within the commas, inverted commas, we can give the message. So I'll say m1. So here my code is equals to my commit. So we will understand the git workflow very well. That's why I use like that. Okay, commit. Now your changes are committed. So we have initialized the git, and we have added the things into the git workflow, and we have committed. So the basic git workflow is done, and here you can see actually the master branch is committed with one file change, and the file is index.html. So that changes are there. And I'm going to clear the screen right now to check the things that I have done in the git. And there's another command. I love this command. We have git log. So here we can see the history, like we can track the history, that the things that we have done. So here in this time I have added a commit to the master branch with the commit sentence. Here I have m1. Okay, so that's the basic git workflow. We have now completed the basic git workflow and the basic commands on that. Now we are going to explore some more commands on the git. Before that, we must have some kind of a knowledge on the web-based version control systems. So there are actually many popular web-based systems for this function. We have GitHub. GitHub is one, and then we have GitLab, and then we have Bitbucket. So Bitbucket, GitLab and GitHub are the most popular web-based version control systems out there. So I'm going to choose this Bitbucket for this session. So I'll be going inside that, and I can log in with my credentials. Okay, so I have already logged in, so I'm inside the dashboard. Here in the left hand side you can see a Bitbucket side menu. In that case you can go to repositories. This is where you can see all the repositories you have. So you can just create one if you need. So there's a little plus sign on the left hand side where you can create the repositories, teams, projects and such. So I will be creating a repository here in this session. So let's go to the repository, and they are asking the repository name. You can type anything here. So I will just give git sample project, and you can set the access level, and there are some advanced settings as well. If you need, you can just give a description as well as some settings. So I will be just keeping these things default, and I'm going to hit on create repository. Okay, now our new repository has been created. Now after creating the online repository, we have to sync our local repository as well. So that's where the git clone command comes in handy. So we have two ways of cloning these things, the HTTPS way and the SSH way. SSH is more secure because it will create the public and private key combination when we access in the repository. So right now I'm going to go with HTTPS, the basic way. So git clone and the URL for the repository. So I'm going to copy this link by using this copy button, and I'm going to go to my command line. I will go to my workspace. Okay, I'm in my workspace. Now we can paste that command that we have already copied. So it says git clone and the URL. When we hit enter, it will call our project in the Bitbucket and asking the password for that. If your email is not yet registered with your system, it will ask the username as well. So here I just have to give the password. Okay, so once you entered the password, you can see the message, this cloned project is an empty project. So we can see whether it's cloned or not. We'll do a LL, the list items. Oh great, we have git sample project, same as the git sample project in your online repository. So if I go inside that, now you can see git is already being init because I'm now in the master branch. So we can do anything and do the stuff. Right, so that is about the git clone basic command, and the next we have is git pull. So that is wonderful code that we can use to take the changes from the online repository. So we have the online repository called git sample project in the Bitbucket. What we can do is we can use git pull command to take the changes from this repository to our local machine. So we'll do some changes in the online repository for that. So here I can create a readme file for an example. So I'll go and create here, and I can write anything. Okay, so we'll just keep it this way. You can type anything right here, readme file, and I'm going to commit that one, and I'm going to commit with this message. Okay, now the first commit is being made with the readme file, and now you know what happened is your online repository is ahead with your local repository. So that's where the git pull command is coming. So we can pull the changes very easily from your origin. So we have git pull, and then we type git pull origin. We can use this git command like this. We can type git pull origin to mention that we are taking the changes from the remote branch, and we have to give the branch that we are going to pull in the details. So here I am pulling the details from the master branch, because why? We are in the master branch here in the online repository. So I'm going to type master. So it will ask my password again. So I can type the password, hit enter. Right, the changes has been pulled to your local machine, and you can see one item has been changed, right? So if you check the local repository now by using a list, you can see the readme file is there. So that is git pull. After git pull, what we have is the push command. Git push is also very important when you are going to, when you have done with the coding and done with the testing and all, and your changes are committed in your local environment, and now you need to sync this with your online repository. So then the git push command is coming. So in this git push command, we can push the changes to your online repository from your local branch. So let's do something. So I'm going to open this project with my code editor. Great. And I have readme file. So I can change the readme file, right? So I will say this is a project. This is an awesome project. This is an awesome project. Okay, so I have done a change to the readme file. So if we go back to the terminal and hit git status, now you already know these commands. We have modified the readme file, and this is in the untracked folder. To add these things to the staging area, we use git add, and we can type the file name, or you can just type dot to have it all. Now we can commit the changes, or you can see the git status, it's in the green right now. We can use git commit command to save the changes in the locally with a message. So I'll give the message as updated the readme file. Okay, now your commit has been done. So if I look at on the git log file, you can see we have created the readme. This is from the online that we have done. We pulled the change and now we have updated the readme file, and that is still in my local machine. Because why? If I go to the online machine right now, if I go to the commits, so here in the online repository we have source to identify what is the code inside, and we have commits to check or track the details that the developers has done and the branches that we do. We are going to discuss that one later. Anyway, if you go to commits, only one commit is there. My latest commit is not there. To make it apply to this one, even you can see it from the source code as well. In the source, in the readme file, it's still the same. We don't have our update. So we can go to the command line right now and we can do a push, git push. Origin is to mention that we are pushing the changes to the online repository or the remote repository, and we have to mention the branch. So that is a good practice. We are in the master branch and we are pushing the changes to the master branch. Okay, asking the password again, type the password, hit enter, and your changes, okay, now they are uploaded to your online repository. So let's go and refresh the repo and check the changes. Great, we have, this is an awesome project. Let's see the commits. Okay, we have 2 commits now. It's wonderful. Now we have learned about git clone, and we have learned about git pull and push. Git clone, git pull, git push are also very important commands that we have in Git to work with your remote repository and the local. Now we are going to look into another git command, and that is about the branches. In your development, we might have different features and we might have different development environments. So for example, if we take the project, okay, so let's take, this is your project, and this project has many versions of that. So we are creating the initial version and we test it, and then we just clean the code and stuff. We just make it as a production ready version. What do you mean production ready? Production ready means like we have a product which is with less errors and it is ready to go live to the world or the internet, whatever, to the client, right, after the testing of UAT, user acceptance testing. So let's say you are in that kind of a situation and you need many features to go into this production version. In such cases, we don't mess with the initial version source code. We take branches of that and we divide that project into separate features. As long as, like, when you have different features with you, you create separate branches for separate features, right? Maybe you have a team working on this product and you have one person with this feature, another person with this feature. So we can separate 2 feature branches for this one. So this session is about the branches. So how we gonna create branches? Okay, so we have simple 2 steps in the branches. So right now we have the command git branch and we can check the available branches. So here if we check git branch, it will show you the local branches. If I hit enter, I have only master here. So let's say you want another branch to work with. So in that case, okay, so I'm going to create a branch like this. Git, we have 2 ways of creating the branches. The first way is branch. Okay, the first thing that you have to do when you are creating the branch is you should be in the branch where you need. For example, I need a feature branch from the master. So in such cases, we need to be in the master branch for that. All right. So the first step is git branch, and we have to give the branch name here. So I will give feature 1. For my feature 1 I need a branch, so I just type git branch feature 1. Okay, so that's it. So if I take git branch now, so we have 2 branches, right? The master branch is there and the feature branch is there. Okay, now let's say you want to go inside the feature branch. So there is a little command here, git checkout. So we use checkout to go back and forth within the, to change within the branches. So after the checkout command, we have to give the branch name. So we'll give feature 1. Now I'm inside the feature branch. You can see I was in the master branch and now I'm in the feature 1 branch. So let's say you need to go back to the master. Git checkout master. Right, you are back in the master, right? Okay, that is the first way, git branch and git checkout. That is the first way of creating the branch and moving. And second of all, we can have one single command to move into another branch. For example, we can use git checkout -b to represent that we need to create a branch and we do the checkout at the same time. So I will go and type feature 2. So I need another branch for my feature 2, and we are going to create the branch on the fly and we are going to move into the branch itself. So hit enter, you are in the feature branch and it is created. Now if you check git branch, you have 3 branches already. Alright, so that is about creating the branch and going back and forth within the branches. After git branch and checkout, we can move into another git command, and this is a very interesting command, and we are going to learn now about the stash command. So stash command is really important when you are working with the stuff and you need to change suddenly for some reason. Maybe we don't know the reason, but in such cases, like let's say you're working on something and suddenly you figure out that this is not the branch you need to do this, and you need the entire change that you have done in another branch. So in such cases, we can use the command stash. That's really important in those type of cases. Alright, so let's see how we can use stash. So I'll go back to the feature branch, my feature 1. I'm in my feature branch, sorry, clear. I'm going to open this one with a code editor. Okay, I have the previous things that I have done in my master branch, and this is about the snapshots. I think we talked about this earlier about snapshots. So we have the same things in this branch which was there in the previous branch. Anyway, now I'm in the feature branch. So I'm going to create a folder here for my feature 1. This is not a folder, we delete this, I'm sorry, we create a folder, okay, feature 1, and inside that I'm going to create another file, index.html. Where am I? Okay, index.html, right? So I'm in the feature, I'm in my file for the feature 1. I'm going to do some code. Okay, F1, a wonderful code. So I have done the change and I'm going to do a commit. You know how to do the commit, right? We can do the status. All right, git add to add into the staging area. We can see the status, it's in the green light. We can commit now. I'm going to commit this one with F1, that is the same as my code, just to be clear with the track. Okay, and fine. If I check the git log, I have the M1 from the master branch and F1 from the feature branch. All right, okay, fine. Now back to the code. You're going to do something stupid here. You type F2, which should not be in feature 1 but should be in feature 2 branch. So think like this has 100 lines and you can't just copy and paste the things, right? You can just cut and paste. That obviously that is possible, but it's not nice. That's where this stash command comes in handy. All right, let's do that. We can just do a status and check what are the things that we have done. All right, we have this command. Actually, there's another nice command to check the differences between the files with this file and the earlier version of it. We have git diff, and we can type the file name, and you can see previously it was only F1. Now we have added a line called F2, right? So that is to see the difference between the previous version and the edited version. Anyway, that's not the case. This is about the stash. We can type git stash and save, and we can save the current changes into a separate file. So we can give a name here. So I will give modified feature 2, right? So I'm going to hit enter. Now it says it's saved. Now in feature 2 it is on the stash. So now if I go back to the code, you can't see the F2 because why? We have deleted that one and added into a stash area. It's kind of a area where we keep the changes and we can apply into anywhere we want. Now we don't have any changes, right? Now to check the stash list, we can type stash list, and this is a stack. You know how the stacks works, right? Push and pop methods are there. In this stack we can have our stash. This is the stash ID, and this is the message that we give when we are saving, and this is the branch. All right. Okay. To apply the stash into this feature again, we have git stash pop. When we do a pop, what happens is it will take the latest stash and apply into the current branch. All right, now it is applied and your changes are back in, right? F2 is there. So that's git stash pop. Okay, so let's say we are going to rewind this one again. Let's say you haven't done anything with the stash, and okay, I want to show you something else. If I check the git stash list now, that is not there, because when you do a pop method into a stash, it will remove it from the stack. Okay, right, that part is also done. All right, so that is about the git stash pop. There's another way to apply these changes into your current folder or the current branch, and that is the apply command. So if I take a look at the list, we have the stack here, and this is the message as I told earlier, the branch and the stash stack ID. So we can just copy it and we can do like this. We can say git stash apply, and then we have to type the ID, right? So here is the ID for the stash. So if I hit enter right now, those changes will be added to your current branch. Now if I go back and list the stash, we have it. This is not like the pop. The apply will not remove the stash. So we can apply the same stash to different branches in such cases. So we never know what the requirement you have, right? So there are many ways to do different stuff. Anyway, so if you have completed with the stash and you don't need that to be inside the stash stack, we can delete that from the stash. So I'll let you see one last time. This is the stash. We have this ID. What we can do is we can do git stash and then do a drop of that ID. All right, it is dropped. If I now go back and see the list, we don't have a list. All right, so this is a very interesting command. This is about the stash. So we now know what is stash and how to save a stash, how to save changes in a stash in a stack, and how to list them, how to apply them into a branch. Alright, so we have learned many things in the Git now. So this is kind of the last part of Git, like last parts, one of the last parts, alright. Anyway, so we are going to learn about now how to like make the changes together. So we have different branches. So let's say your feature 1 branch is done, completed with the development, completed with the testing, and you need to move this feature into your master branch, and we need to make the master branch ready to go to production. In such cases, so now we'll first check the code again in the, alright, we have the feature 1, it's wonderfully done. I'll put as, okay, F1. Okay, so we have two codes in the feature 1 branch, another code. Okay, so anyway, we have the changes, git status, right? We are going to, now the code is checked, so we are going to add them, we are going to commit them. So I'll say feature 1, feature is 1, and what we have done, added F1 for this. Okay, for anything you can just type something else, please give meaningful messages. Alright, so I'm just giving anything right here. Yes to save, git log. So we have M1 from the master branch, F1 added, and we have added another one, and that is called as feature 1 F1. Okay, anyway, we have now 3 commits and they are in the feature 1 branch. Now I can go back to the master branch, for example. If I check the log here, I have only M1, and in my codes I don't have the feature branch, so it is deleted. I can remove this, nothing will change, right? We have only M1 there. So what we need is, we need to take the feature 1 changes into the master branch. Okay, that's what we need. So as we see in the code editor, we don't see the feature 1 changes in this, in here, I mean. So that's where this command will come. We have git merge. So before using the merge, we have to think about what we need to merge and where those changes to be merged. So what I need is, we have the feature branch, that is feature 1, and we have master branch. So what we need to have is, we need to merge the feature 1 branch into my master branch, right? So that should happen in this way. So the feature branch should be merged to the master branch. So we have to be in the master branch for this. So we have to be in the master branch first, and then we merge the feature 1. That's how the merge will happen. So let's go to the terminal. Now I'm in the master branch, you can see, right? So I'm going to merge, git merge is the command, and we type which branch we need to merge. That's it, git merge feature 1. So if I hit enter, it will update my current repository and add the changes from the feature 1 branch to the master branch. So if I check the code right now, I can see the feature branches. See, this is the feature we have done in the last couple of minutes. If I check the log now, we can see those changes are there. Alright, so these are from the feature branch, and they are now equal with the master branch. So that is git merge. So here there is something that you need to know when merging. There's another way of merging, I'll come to that later. But anyway, when merging things, you might get conflicts, which will make your life so much miserable. Okay, if you have many conflicts, that many conflicts equal to the more miserable you will be in your life. So anyway, so I'm going to tell you how to fix the conflicts and how the conflicts will come. Let's say now my feature branch and my master branch is in the same level. They are equal. Let's say someone is doing something with the master branch. So I'm going to do something. So I have the code open from the master branch. Sorry. Here, I'm going to change this one to something else, M2 and M3. Okay. And I'm going to commit this. We have it. I'm going to commit as we have to give a message as M2 and M3. Okay, so we have committed. Now I can go into my feature branch. So remember, we have changed the index.html here. Okay, it was M1 and I have changed that to M2 and M3. So if I go into the feature branch right now, if I go back to the code after changing the branches, we don't have those changes. Okay, there are two different branches, that's why. So you must be comfortable with that right now. Okay, anyway, the next thing is to do the edit in the same place where we did the edit in the master branch. So that's where the things come miserable. So let's say there is someone who has edited the same code in here, something with M4, right? There is a code called M4 right here, and I'm going to add that. I'm going to commit it, message, and I'm going to say M4. All right. Now if I check the git log, we have M4 also. Okay, now the things will get messy if I go back to the master branch and I need to merge the feature branch into this. So in my master branch we have M2 and M3. In my feature branch we have M4. So I'm going to type the command git merge and feature 1. Bam! You will get the conflict. Auto merge in index.html, conflict is there. Merge conflict in index.html. So we have to thank the Visual Studio Code Editor. It will help you with this type of situations. When there's a conflict, it will show in two different colors and with the changes actually. That's really helpful. Okay, so what we can see here is it will show you the changes right here, the current changes in the master branch, and this one is coming from the feature branch, and they're asking what we should do, right? You can either keep this, or you can keep all of them. So you can accept both changes, or you can accept the incoming changes or the current, or you can just do it manually. You can delete everything. Okay, you can delete these things like this and do whatever you like. This is the master branch. Okay, and that is the main branch, so we can do anything that there which should come exactly. Okay, or else you can just go and select something from the Visual Studio Code. So you can either select incoming changes or both changes, or you can accept the current changes. So I'm going to accept the both changes right here, so it will keep everything. So once you have done with the conflicts, you have to add the files again and you can commit it. When we commit the things, it will give you a nice message. They are going to merge in the branches feature 1 because we had the conflict. Now we have done the parts, so we can save it. It says it is merged. If I check the log file, we have a merge branch. All right, so that is how to fix conflicts when you have conflicts when merging. Alright, so now I have created a git merge test repository just to show you what will happen when you merge stuff, when you do the merge, right? So when you just use merge for your conflicts, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have now created a new branch called 1, 2, 3. I have created a new repository in my Bitbucket called git merge test just to show you what is happening when merging, what is the disadvantage we have. I'm going to git clone this. We have already copied that, no? Okay, cloning. You know this actually. Okay, it's cloned. If I go back into that git merge test, what? CD. Seriously? Alright, so I'm in the master branch. I'm going to edit this one in the code editor. So we'll take a file, index.html. We type a code m1. I'm going to go fast here. We add that, we commit with the message of m1, and we push the changes. Push origin master, and it is done. If I go back to the branch and refresh, okay, if I go back to the commits, it's done. Alright, I'm going to create a new branch, feature branch. I'm in my feature branch, going back to the code editor, and I'm going to create feature.html. F1 is the code. Okay, we don't need this now. I'm sorry. So this is the code. I have created the feature branch and with the F1 code. Okay, we have M1 in the master branch and feature branch F1. We add the changes. We do a commit with the message of F1, and we push the changes to the origin feature. It will take some time. Okay, done. If I go back to this and refresh, okay, now we have two commits, F1, M1 and F1, and here it says it is in the feature branch. If I go back to the branches and see, we have two branches, right? We have the master branch and we have feature branch. Okay, I hope you understand that. Alright, so let's do some stupid things. We go back to the master branch and we do some more changes there. Now this one is deleted since we are in the master branch. We go to index.html, we add m2. So I'm going to add that, commit as m2. Okay, so I'm going to add another m3. I'm going to add that one as well. So I'll clear the screen for make it more clarity. Git commit. Oops, we have to do it like this. M3. Alright, now if I check git log, we have m1, m2, m3. We'll push these changes to the origin. Git push origin master. You don't have to put this every time, okay? You can just type git push if you need. But I have that habit to put the origin as always. I don't know why. Anyway, if I go back to the commits right now, alright, this is what I want to show you. Please check this. We have now 4 comments. We have M1 was initially there in the master branch, and we created a feature branch and we did the change and pushed. And now we have added some more commits into the master branch. And now what you can see in the display is we have now two branches going in two different ways. Let's say we need to merge this feature branch into my master branch right now. Now you know the command, right? What we can do, we are in the master branch, we can go ahead and do git merge feature. So it is going to be merged. Very nice. It is merged. If I take the log, we say we have F1, we have M1, and then F1, M2, and M3, and it is merged. Please have a look with this, right? Check the order of the commits. M1, F1, M2, M3. We know our base project is the master, but we have done the F1 command in the middle of that. Okay, so we can fix this type of issues. This is not actually an issue, but it's some kind of an issue when we in the tracking purpose. We can fix these type of issues with the rebase command, which we are going to do in the next. But anyway, so I just wanted to show you what happens with the merge, right? So if I push these things, you can realize more about the merge. Okay, I'm going to refresh after merging. Alright, now you can see what happened. We have this track and we have deviated from the main branch to a feature and we have merged that one. So this is quite nice for the illustration version, but imagine you have many team members in your team and you will it will be a mess right here, right? Okay, it will be a mess because you can't track them very nicely. So that's where we get the rebase. So I just wanted to show you this one to before going to the rebase command. So that's why we have the command called rebase instead of a merge. Alright, after the git merge and the drawbacks of that, I told you we have a new command called rebase. So to test that, I have created another repository. So I'm going to copy this command to make this clone. I will clear this stuff. I will go back to the labs. Okay, I'm going to clone this. Cloning git rebase test completed. I'm going to go inside that cd git rebase tab. Okay, rebase test. I'm inside the master branch. I will open this one with the code editor and we know what to do. We will do the same things that we have done when we did the merge test. Okay, I'm going to create the index.html, type M1, and I'm going to add the changes, do a commit with M1. Okay, push the changes to the master, go back to the repository and refresh whether we get that, just to check that. Just we like it, right? Okay, I'm going to check out and create a new branch called feature. Very easy. And we do some changes in the code editor. We create a new file called feature.html and we are going to type nice code there called F1, and we go back and add the changes. We do the commit for that change -m, message is F1. Okay, so we push the changes as well. Oh, because we don't have that in the repository yet, because we don't have a branch, right? We don't have that branch. We have only master branch. That's why I told you try to practice with the origin. So then you won't get that error. See? Best practices, okay? Right, we have that. Now we have, yes, 2 branches. If I go to commits, 2 commits. Now I'm going to do that stupid thing again. So I'm going to go to the checkout and master, and I'm going to do some changes in the master branch directly. Go to the index page, M2. Go and add the command, and I'm going to commit the changes with M2. Okay. Then I'm going to do another change, M3. So I'm going to do the same thing. Add that and then commit with the message M3. And I'm going to push the changes. Git push origin master. Okay, now we have recreated the issue that we had in the branches. See, we have two ways, the feature and the master. So what we are going to do in here in the rebase is we are going to change the history of the track. What we are going to do is we are going to apply these feature branches on top of the master latest commit. So the latest commit of the master branch is M3, but the F1 command, F1 commit is right here. What we are going to do, we change this, we apply this on top of the last command of the master, which means we apply F1 on top of M3. So that is rebase. So what we need to do is, first of all, we have to make sure that our branches are updated. So we can just type a pull request and we say whether that we are up to date, already up to date. We can go back to the feature branch and do the same thing. Oh yes, we have to put feature. Okay, so we are already up to date, no worry, and our changes are also there. If I check the git log right here, we have M1 and F1. If I go back to the master git checkout, why my spelling mistakes, checkout master, if I go to log, we can see M1, M2, M3. So we are going to rewrite the history. Very simple. Not like the merge, we are not staying in the master branch for the rebase, we go into the feature branch for this. So we are going to, I will first clear the screen. We go to git checkout and the feature branch. I'm in the feature branch. Now we can use the command called git rebase, and then we type the master branch. So we rebase the master branch into the feature branch. You see the difference between merge and rebase? I hope you do. I'm going to click here, enter. Now what happens? It will do some magic things in the background and applying the feature 1 changes on top of the master branch. If I check the log now right here, wow, it's nice. We have M1, M2, M3 and then F1. See, in the rebase we have applied F1 change on top of M3. So that's the beauty in here. So we can do the same thing right now for the master branch as well. So we have that. We can push the changes and make sure when we push the changes we have in here. Okay, so okay, I'm going to push the changes, git push origin feature. Okay, so it says failed, right? So you have to understand why it's saying failed, because we never know that branch can be also edited or updated by someone else. So in such cases, they will give us a best practice when we are doing the push to the feature branch after the rebasing. We have to type, there is an option in the code called force with lease. We have to type that with the push. Now it is going to be pushed. Okay, it's completed. Now if I go back to the and see what's happened. Wonderful. See the change that is not like the merge. We have a straight line with a nice stack, right? We have M1, M2, M3, and we have F1. So that is rebase. So this is the most used pattern without merge. We use rebase in the development environment, so that is really clean. So try to use rebase when you are developing the stuff. We have already covered the basic commands in Git, and now I'm going to show you how we can use these web-based version control systems to make your development life easier. Like, you might have managers in your team, you have developers, tech leads and stuff, and you might need to review the codes, and you can like share and discuss. So those type of things is possible with this web-based, remote-based, these things are possible in web-based version control systems. So in there we can so I'm going to go with this Bitbucket, and I'm in the settings page. If you go to the repository, we have source, commit, branches. We have already know those things now. We are going to go with repository settings right now, and user and group access, and here we can invite the people in the team, which means I have invited myself with another account for this repository. Okay, so in my Firefox browser, I'm inside that. I can see I have this git rebase test. I can see the commits as well. Okay, right, so don't worry, we'll come back to that later. So that is, you can just type the name of the person here and press add. That person will come here. So that is how to share your repository with another person. Right, so now this is the project that we have been working on, the git rebase test. We have the index with 3 commits. We have the feature with 1 commit. So we are going to do another code right here called F2. And this is a very critical part. So we don't need to merge things to the master branch suddenly. We need someone else to review this code. So in such cases, anyway, first we need to commit and push the code. So we check the status. We have one, so we add this one. It is called feature.html. It is added. Now if you check the git status, it's in green. Okay, now I can commit with the message of F2. Please put clear messages here, okay? And we can push the changes to the feature branch. We have to type origin feature. Okay, it is pushed. If I go back to the repository and check for commits, I have one commit F2, and I need this to be I need this commit to be reviewed by another person. In that case, in all the other web-based version control system, there is a feature called pull requests. We can create pull request that is like a request which is made to be merged in future, but before merging we can just review the code. So we go to pull requests in the left hand side. In the right hand side corner we have create pull request, and we can just give which branch to be pulled with to which. So in the left hand side you can see the latest changes, the feature branch, and which means which branch to be merged. In the right hand side you have the main base branch, that is the master. So we can give the title, we can give the description, what we have done, so and so, and in the reviewers section you can type the reviewers. So I have the myself as a reviewer, so I'm going to add this person. Okay, so if you need, you can just close the feature branch after the pull request is merged. That is what we do in the features when we have a lot of issues. If we done with the issue, if it is reviewed successfully and approved, we merged it and we close it. So that's how the project is going. Okay, so anyway, we can just put that. So we create the pull request after that. Once it is created, still creating. Okay, once it is created, we can see the person is there as a reviewer, the description, and the changes that I have done. Okay, so let's go to my other account and see what is happening. I'm going to my Firefox and I'm going to my pull request. Anyway, I'm getting an email on that, right? So I have a pull request right here created by Asitha Bandara, me, and as reviewers I have myself again, don't worry. So 2 accounts. Okay, so I'm going to that one to check what is happening. Alright, inside that I can see these changes are being done. Good code. We can approve this or we can disapprove that one, or we can type a comment what need to be done. I can say, are you sure of this one is correct or something, and we can go back to this, and I think we have, there is no shortcut IO. So are you sure is comment is there. I can reply to this, yes, this is 100% okay. I can go back into my another account, refresh, I have it. Okay, then no problem, everything works fine. We can just approve it. Approved. So if I go back, so I approved that one. I'm going into my original account and refresh. It says it is approved. Okay, so the pull request is now approved. You can see with 2 messages. Now at last what we can do the merge to the feature. We can go inside the pull request and there is option called merge. So we click there, and when we are merging, please note that this message should be very clean. So I think the best practice is to have this in a single line and delete this merged in. We'll just have this. And when we are merging, there are strategies. So when we merge, we use the squash strategy because we don't need all the background commits that we have done in each feature. So we actually squash that into one single message. So we merge right here and merging is happening. Why this takes too long? Okay, it's done. It is merged. Alright, so if I go to the commits, okay, nicely the F1 has been changed to the pull request, which has been see, all the commits inside that one is pushed into one commit, that is feature. If you want to check inside that, just click on the pull request here and check the history. So that is how the industry in the software development is happening. So we don't have the pull request right here. If I go to the branches, I don't have that branch either because we put the tick box to delete the feature once the pull request is approved. So we have a nice workflow, right? A kind of a straight workflow with rebase and the pull request and reuse. All right. Okay, so this is about the Git basic and the practice, that how we use the Git. So initially we did the Git introduction and the basic commands like git init, and we did git status and how to do the clone and how to pull the changes and how to push the changes, right? After that we did git branch, and to switch branches we use checkout, And the next part, we did git stash, really important thing. So inside that we have save, we have list, we have pop, we have apply, and then we have drop. So all those things are under stash. Here we have this one also. Okay, dash b, we did that one. Okay, then we did git merge, we did rebase. Very interesting topics. So I hope you got a kind of good understanding about the git with these things. You can actually check more. You can search online and check Stack Overflow, and you do your own research on these things. You can just check on the git internals, how that work, how these things are stored inside that. Anyway, these things are enough for your project work and the normal in the software development. Anyway, good luck with that. Thank you very much.